Hi everyone, it's Starla. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I decided I wanted to do another video today about depression. I already did one about Mental Health Awareness Month, and I wanted to touch more deeply on depression. I went to one of my friend's live streams the other day after I had posted my video, and I found it really interesting that there were a whole bunch of people in her live stream, men and women, that were talking about how difficult it is to deal with their depression, with their anxiety, with their OCD, post traumatic stress disorder, some of them grappling with suicidal feelings, others having lost people close to them to suicide. And it just it really reinforced what I said in my other video, that so many people suffer from these things, and it's something that we should feel free to talk about, not something that should be hidden in the shadows. And one of the ladies made a comment that really resonated with me. She said that people would tell her, "Oh, I understand, I'm depressed too," and that she wanted to say to them, "No, you're not. You're just sad." Because so many people think that when they're having a sad or a melancholy day, that they're suffering from depression. But depression is so much more than sadness. There are as many definitions of depression as there are people. It can be slight, or it can be soul crushing, debilitating, just horrific. My experiences with depression have been very, very difficult. There was a time in my life when even the simple things that most people take for granted were really difficult for me. There was a time when I had a really hard time forcing myself to take care of my hygiene, to bathe, to brush my teeth, to comb my hair, to put on deodorant, to put on clean clothes, to get out of bed, to eat. Depression can make you feel hopeless, helpless. It took all of my energy. Things that I used to love to do had absolutely no appeal anymore. Nothing was fun. Nothing was worth doing. I had no energy. I was always so tired. It wouldn't matter how much I slept. I never felt like I was rested. And at the same time, when I was going through all of this, if I had somewhere I needed to be for one of my kids or for myself or for my husband, I could put on an act. I could get cleaned up and dressed and put on makeup, and I could go and I could smile and I could just be cheerful and wonderful and just such a happy-go-lucky person. And no one had any idea how horribly depressed I was. In fact, the first time that I went into therapy after my husband died, I just kept smiling when I was in my sessions. And I had a therapist that was fairly new, and he couldn't see past the smile. I was sitting in his office, and I knew that there was so much wrong and that I needed help, but I didn't know how to relay that to him. And he couldn't see past the smile. He ended up telling me that he thought I was okay and that I didn't need therapy anymore. And that was just totally the farthest thing from the truth. But sometimes people that are depressed are not able to let others in. They're not able to show it. It's really important that we understand that depression is a really terrible ailment. People kill themselves because they're depressed. And we need to know signs and symptoms. If you notice that someone that you love has stopped doing the things that they enjoy, if they're tired all the time, if they're making excuses for why they can't go places and why they can't do things, you can really, really help them just by opening up the dialogue, just by asking them, how are you doing? You seem depressed to me. Is it something you want to talk about? Being there for someone. One of the worst things that you can do is telling people, what do you have to be depressed about, or what causes this? Or I've had someone say to me, I never had time to be depressed, and I had a lot of reasons why I would be, but I just didn't have the time to do it. And I was thinking, it's not that I have the time to do it, it's that I don't have any choice. This isn't something that I'm choosing. This is something that's happening to me. It makes you feel belittled when people say things like that. I guess I just wanted to say that there are so many mental illnesses. There are so many degrees of depression. There are so many different kinds of depression. And there's a difference. Like some people, they'll lose a family member, or they'll lose a job, or, something will happen, and they feel sad, melancholy for a while, but then they get better. But depression is not like that. Depression can last for days, weeks, months. Some people are depressed for years, and it won't just go away on its own. A lot of people need help. Not necessarily medication, although I am a big advocate of medication for depression and for anxiety. Some people just need therapy. Some people need to be able to confide in someone, trust someone. I'm not expecting a miracle. I'm not expecting everyone to go out and be, mental health warriors that save all their family and friends. But I just want to tell everyone that it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to stigmatize. It's nothing to ignore. One of the greatest things that we can do to help our fellow human beings is to be observant and communicative, I don't know the word, but to be able to be compassionate, to have empathy, to be able to talk about it. And something else, children deal with depression a lot, and if it's not recognized, if it's not treated or dealt with, if it's not validated, it can get so much worse, and it can lead to just utter tragedy. I know I just finished reading a book on the Columbine shooting, and I'm not wanting to draw a lot of attention to that particular act or to say that it was excusable because of bullying and mental health and all of that. But one of the things I found really, really interesting is that one of the shooters was very, very depressed. he kept a daily journal, and for a long time he thought about killing himself. He just could find nothing that mattered to him. He said basically that his existence was worth nothing. And eventually his depression gave way to anger, and he decided to not only kill himself, but take a lot of people with him when he went. And if someone had noticed his depression, maybe that tragedy wouldn't have happened. I don't know. I mean, maybe it would have anyway. And I really do get tired of people doing bad things and then saying it was because they were bullied or they were depressed or they were hurt, because we all have to take personal responsibility for ourselves. But it's just something to think about. If you notice that a child that you care about is starting to be withdrawn and depressed, talk to them. Not that they'll always talk back to you. And teenage years, I mean, everything's a tragedy. They live in a state of depression, they think, teenage angst. But sometimes it's serious. Sometimes you really need to go beyond it. I don't really see anything that's going to stop all of the violence in our world right now. But I do know that mental health is something that is looked down upon. It's misunderstood. And I really would like to see us as a nation and as the world. I'd like to see a time when we embrace each other, and a time when we care about each other, and when people aren't afraid to seek help, because there isn't a stigmatism. When people are mentally ill, it's not their fault. I never hear anybody saying, I have cancer, or I have a blood disease, I have MS, and I'm ashamed and I don't want to get help. Mental health is an illness. You know what I mean. I don't know how to edit yet, so this is probably going to sound stupid, but I'm trying to say that people can't help it if they have depression, if they have OCD, if they have any of those things. A lot of them are caused by deficiencies or brain chemistry. They're not always something that can be controlled. Anyway, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I just wanted to say, if you're depressed, don't be afraid to seek help. If you know someone that's depressed, or if you think you know someone that's depressed, be a friend. Be compassionate. Show them empathy. Give them an ear. Give them a shoulder to cry on. Let's embrace each other. Let's lift each other up. Because there's so much hate and misunderstanding in the world today. And what we need is love and compassion and understanding. Anyway, if this in any way spoke to you or moved you, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to stick around and see more of what I have to offer, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you be a part of my channel. Until next time, bye bye.